Today on Gamer's Couch,
Star Trek Panic!
Welcome to the couch, welcome to the Panic Couch.
Space. A fine CBS property. No.
Space doesn't belong to CBS.
Space! No, that's another property. Let's go where no Gamer's Couch before us has gone.
Before. Something
like this. Okay, I've got that out of my system, so you will only have mild puns today.
Is that a promise?
Please be aware that none of us are wearing a red shirt on purpose, even though we have mixed up shirts for the characters we're going to play. This, you have been warned. Please don't go on, this is entirely not accurate to the...
We have a nice audience. They probably won't do that.
Or no audience, which would also explain no one complaining.
That's true. Anyway, welcome to the Gamer's Couch. My name is Sarah. I'm the Artist Behind Pinselgeschichten owner of this channel and wife of this lovely creature here, who's Daniel the board game nerd.
What? I'm James Tiberius Kirk. Here's my card.
Oh, true. It's your ID card. This is James Tiberius Kirk. I would have loved to have had Jean-Luc Picard with me on the Gamer's Couch, but he couldn't make it. He's stuck in traffic.
No can do too much hair.
I can help with that.
I don't think that I have this kind of...
skull form?
What's the word I'm looking for? It's like from a statue of marble, only in whatever. I'm not bald. Bald.
This is so obtuse. Very professional, don't you think?
Welcome to the Gamer's Couch, where we talk about board games. And
we make horrible puns while trying to convey some information about board games from our collection that we either like or not like, and you will find that out in a later section. But we will start with rules and gameplay, play a couple of turns, and just give you a general overview of the game. Then, like I said, we talk about what we liked or not liked. We have a tiny bit of a thumb rating, and then we go into funny stories and experiences. And this week is one of those weeks where I do tease a upcoming Draw for Initiative episode. So he has to guess, I have to tease, and you can guess with him and be looking forward to next week's Wednesday when Tina and I do the painting. So, my love, tell the folks rules and gameplay, please.
Welcome to space. You are on 5 mission exploration journey kind of thing. So Star Trek Panic is a cooperative game.
I'm panicking.
There are other Panic games in the series which we have not played, so we are going to pretend pretty convincingly that this is the first time we are playing a game like this.
I didn't know that there was. Really?
I think Castle Panic is the other one. Anyway, So this is a cooperative game for, I think, 1 to 6 players, says the box, which this time...
I
learned. For spacefaring tribbles age 13 and up, and it takes about 1.5 hours to get into full panic mode and then either flip the table or finish the game successfully. As I said, in this game, you are on a journey to finish 5 missions. We will just briefly start with one of them to give you a good idea how this works. And this game is pretty straightforward in that everybody gets to play a character. In this case, I am the not matching the yellow shirt James T. Kirk. And Sarah is dead, Jim.
No, I am Leonard McCoy, fitting with the blue shirt for you.
So, Bones.
I'm Bones.
Each of these characters gives you a little special extra ability, which I might note once we get to that. But let's talk about how a round goes. And since this game knows that it's for people like me who forget everything, we have this little reference card. So let's do this one step after another. pretty much what you would expect from our videos. So first, you draw up. In a 2-player game, we get 6 so-called enterprise cards. Since this is a cooperative game, there's actually no need to really keep them secret, so I will just put them out here.
You cannot see them because the camera frame is not big enough, because the board is so big.
Then I will hold them to the camera so that you can see them. So essentially, out of my 6 cards, I only have pretty much 3 types of cards that commonly appear. There's phasers, because you have to shoot stuff.
Shoot them in the blunderfuts.
And I totally forgot that someone who set up the board set not up the entire board, because there's supposed to be people.
We are alone. No, we're alone in space. You have the bag.
So space,
the mission card says. So I didn't set.
Space is surprisingly not as unpopulated, so we are going to do a little bit of editing magic. And suddenly we have some people in space. In this case, we have some Romulans, some Klingons, and a Tholian. Which we'll get to in a second. So, to deal with them, or to communicate, as I would like to call it, we have phasers, which are kind of, let's say, messages sent with light. So it's an optical communication. It's without a fiber cable, and it's very effective. It's certainly very clear what kind of intent you want to communicate, but, well, that's how it goes. Other cards can be stuff like these cards that look similar. There's dilithium and tritanium that
I have the tritanium
that allow you to repair parts of the ship if you ever should get damaged, which obviously never happens, because ever in Star Trek history did the Enterprise even get a scratch, even talk about being destroyed. And then there's some other cards that have effects printed on them. So I have a security team of, well, let's see how well they fare in their red shirts. And you may also note that each card has a little icon on the bottom, which may become important for missions. So I have my 6 cards that doesn't do much so far, because we need to know what actually is our first mission. There's a stack of mission cards here, so I'm going to reveal the first mission, and it's a space seed. Let me quickly read this to you. The Enterprise encounters an ancient space vessel whose occupants are in suspended animation. When brought aboard, Khan takes over the Enterprise. So there's some bit of fluff. More important, we have a mission parameter, we have a mission timer. So there's a little board here where a timer goes on. It says start at 4. So we are limited in the amount of turns we have to get or deal with this mission. When this mission is revealed, all players discard 1 card at random. And
at random, that's shitty, because I have like 4 of the
there
credits.
Goes my dilithium. Players draw 1 less card during their draw-up phase. Players may not maneuver the Enterprise. So this happens after this has been revealed, so drawing up to 6 would have been fine. By the way, these mission cards are shuffled, so who knows what awaits us next. And then it tells us what we actually have to do, in this case, the mission objective. This seems to be a collection or a set collection mission. Players must commit 2 command credits, 1 medical, and 2 of any division credits to complete the mission, defeating Khan and regaining control of the Enterprise. This is where these symbols come into place that I told you about. So what you can do on your turn, you can commit cards to the mission, or you can play them for their effect. If you commit them, they're kind of stored on here until you check if the mission is resolved. There's also a reward for this, and there's another thing I glanced over, saying you cannot maneuver the Enterprise. We get to that now. So since I'm the captain, and I'm totally doing the captain thing, I get to trade a card before I get to play cards. Now, I think, since I already have a security team and we need to commit 2 command cards, I might pick. Please trade me 1 of your direct hit cards if you want to. Actually, I can also commit the other one, but I'd say before we lose another card to something stupid, we'll do that. So. I've traded a card with another player. Unfortunately, you only get to trade 1 card. And then I get to play cards and maneuver the Enterprise. Now, I can do that in pretty much any order. Unfortunately, since we are currently not allowed to maneuver the Enterprise, I'll put this little thing on here. So on your turn, and I'll explain that, what we cannot do first, which makes total sense, but it's actually pretty simple. You get to maneuver the Enterprise, meaning you can turn it by one sector to the left or one sector to the right, and therefore change the facing of your spaceship. There's another option where you can just say full speed ahead or energize or whatever is your favorite catchphrase. That actually doesn't move the Enterprise directly, but it affects the ships that are in front of the Enterprise, or the things that are in the front two sectors, because they will kind of get one sector closer to you. The one behind you, unfortunately, don't move because they are kind of in pursuit and already following you. So let's see what things we can do. I have phasers, but the phaser cards show me where I can hit stuff, and I'm only able to hit stuff in this center ring here at medium range, not at the far range space, so these are kind of useless at the moment. They'll become more useful later on. And what I can do is I can commit these cards to the mission, because we have to commit two, so I'm going to commit these two cards to the mission. I'm just placing them here. Trust me that they're there, they're not gone. And that is a great way to tell you about my special ability. My special ability says, during the play cards and maneuver phase, the first time you commit a card to the mission turn, draw 2 Enterprise cards. So I'm getting to draw 2 new cards, hopefully. Something that is useful. Actually, it is something that is useful.
Oh, that's awesome. Look.
So first of all, I got another medical credit, so I'm going to commit that. So we only now need 2 of any cards, and I think I want to play the medical scanner, because this says draw 2 Enterprise cards, add 1 to your hand, and give the other to another player. And since we're starved for cards because of card, I'm going to do that. So I'm drawing 2 cards. Let's see. I have a Nurse Chapel, and I think I want to keep that as well and give you the short-range side phases.
You.
And now I'm playing Nurse Chapel. All players draw 1 Enterprise card.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then I have Human Rand, draw 2 Enterprise cards and add them to your hand, or use as any of those division credits. This is ridiculous. I don't know if Sarah...
I did shuffle 3 times. I did the 3-time shuffle.
It's the typical Sarah shuffle, but this time I'm taking it. It's in my favor. So I'm also playing the Human Rand to draw 2 cards and add them to my hand. And unfortunately, it is more phases that are short.
No, there's a long one.
I can play the long-range side phases, which I'm doing. So I'm hitting the Klingon battlecruiser. You may note on these they have 3 different numbers, and the number facing to the Enterprise is the kind of the active strength of the ship. And when you hit it, you just decrease the number and turn the ship down 1. If it gets reduced to 0, that's it, and pretty straightforward. Since I don't have any more cards that I can play or want to play, I now check the mission status in the next phase. We have already 3 out of 5 cards committed, but that's still not quite enough. I hope that Sarah can, ideally she can finish the mission on her turn. So mission is not complete. We just continue going on. Now, threats, move, and fire. And how that works is we just go through each sector, starting with the lows or highs, whatever. Just make sure that you don't miss what's going on. This Tholian is flying towards us and firing his laser. Fortunately, our ship here, that might be hard to see on camera, but we have these shield plastic thingies here, and they each can take 2 hits before being destroyed. So we put 1 bzzzt marker on the shield, and that's that. Then we have the Romulan battlecruiser that does the same on this side. Another bzzzt. Some of them are a little bit stiff. It's probably from the 60s. And then we have the same here. Now, the unfortunate part for us is that we have to draw new threats. So you already seen here where the panic aspect of this game is coming from, because you will always draw 2 new enemies that will constantly attack you, which is kind of annoying at times. So let's see. Our first new candidate is a Klingon bird of prey, and we have to roll the die to see where it will show up. It's on sector 4. So this moves here. This has a blue border, meaning it behaves a little bit different in the combat phase. Because these ships have cloaking technology. So if it's uncloaked, it will move forward 1 and be cloaked, and we cannot attack it while it is cloaked. And on the next turn, it uncloaks and randomly moves to the left, right, or stays here and then attacks. So it's just a little bit different behavior, spicing things up. But we need to check our second. And it is a comet, which is not an enemy per se, but it is an attack that happens, and Sarah will roll the die. It's in Sector 2, which is super unfortunate for us. So the comet enters here and attacks everything in this sector and deals 2 damage. Unfortunately, 2 damage is enough to get rid of our shield, so we have to remove it. Don't worry, in theory we can replace it. So this guy now comes aside and stays out of the bag, so you will get to see the entire bag sooner or later. But that's it pretty much. So it's Sarah's turn. She would draw up, but Khan is still preventing us from drawing
and I'm also having quite a couple of cards already, so I'm good. I want to shoot...
There's a mission card here, so we don't reveal any new one. You can still trade cards.
If you want any of those.
No, I have a couple of those. Yeah, maybe you can make use of them to destroy one of the...
Which one? I get the front one on my own. How much does it have? 2, right? So that one has 2 as well. So I need back or side.
I have both available.
Yeah, I have every direction once. So I'm good there. These need 2 damage, so I can kill one of them.
Then let's cut it short. Take the side one, give me one of the short range, and we're good.
All right, so let's start with the front, shooting him in the blunderfuts.
So that just removes the ship.
Yes.
By the way, we still cannot maneuver because the mission is not resolved, so... we kind of have to stay the way we are. Do you want to shoot more?
Yes, you can always shoot more. I want the side, the both shootings.
Okay, that takes care of him.
And then I want to blast him 1 in the blunderfuts.
Okay.
My special says that I can take a... security team from the discard pile, but I just checked we don't have any yet, so I cannot use my bones special.
But maybe as soon as these security cards go into...
So the last thing I'm gonna do is commit the 2 titanium...
2 of any?
To the mission.
And that was your maneuver phase?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we check the mission status and we find, hey, we have resolved the mission objective, meaning we successfully completed the mission. Oh, by the way, I forgot, on my turn on the check mission status, I should have moved this forward because the timer goes down each turn. So we would have had to deal with this before that. And you can see this timer doesn't care for how many players you have. So while we are pretty good with drawing new cards in a 4 or even 6 player game, in this 4 turn mission, it could be that 2 players don't even get a chance to really commit to the mission because they won't see anything happening there. Anyway, we get a reward. We rotate the Enterprise to a facing of our choice. Also, when the next mission is revealed, you may look at the top 2 mission cards, choose one to be the next mission, and put the other at the bottom of the deck. So we'll do the remembering of that. Put the mission card aside, and to record our success, we say we have 1 mission complete. Yay!
Do we want to rotate before we know the new missions?
So, rotating.
I have side phasers for now.
Here is, I have more back phases than I have side phases. So I think next turn what I want to do is shoot to the back and then turn to the side and do that. So we'll stay
the way we are.
The way we are, correct. The mission timer goes back. Now threats move and fire. The Romulan battlecruiser is getting close to us. Now there's a special thing going on if ships are really close, like this one, and attack then, or at least or try to move towards you. They will start boarding you, which isn't an issue as long as you have shields, but it's kind of annoying. That is actually one of the things why you would want to have... where did I put them? Oh, it's these cards. Where you want to have the security team, because you can play that anytime, even if it's not your turn, to reduce damage from boarders by one, which is helpful. The only good news here is that if you have shields, the ship will still stay there and continue to do damage, but if you have been boarded, the ship will go off the board, but will do damage directly to your Enterprise. And there's... it can go so far that as you can see here, that there's then this overlay thing that makes it look terribly destroyed and everything's horrible and whatnot. Obviously, if you have too much damage or if everything is damaged, then you lose the game. In our case here, this guy is just doing damage to the shield. So our already damaged shield goes away. The next guy does not attack because he is a cloaker, so he is just going forward and cloaking, meaning I cannot attack him. I should have thought of that when I held my speech about what I'm going to do. And
but now, you can take care of the blue guy.
And now Sarah...
And you have to roll.
And now Sarah is doing
threatening
one new threat, please.
It's a Romulan battlecruiser.
It wants to go to number 6. And the second new threat is...
I want this one, Jim. It's an Iron Storm. Roll die. Apply 1 damage to shield or hull in that sector.
So unfortunately in 3 we don't have a shield, so we must apply damage to a hull. That's where these things here come into place. So we... similar to shields, the hull has 2 points of health, so to speak. The first one just gets this thing, and it's easier to repair hull damage because that would only damage. Yeah, so titanium repairs 1 damaged hull. Dilithium, when I find it, it was here, repairs 1 damaged shield, so it removes one of these 2 tokens. Unfortunately, if your shield is entirely gone, as it is in this case, or your hull is totally damaged, as indicated by these markers, you have to play both cards to restore whatever you want to do. So you ideally want to repair damages rather sooner than later, because they get more expensive to repair with time going on. Now that were these 2. Now it's my turn. I get to draw up since Khan is gone, and I get to draw up to my full 6 cards, hopefully having something good.
Ooh, you have a nice one.
Yeah, from Torpedo. Then we reveal a new mission card, and here we have the deadly years. A strange disease is causing the crew to age incredibly fast. Wow. Then even it goes for you.
Charming, Jim.
Well, that's you.
Yes, but not in real life. I'm still young. Yeah, well.
Anyway, so here again we have a mission timer of 6 turns. During the mission, the current mission time indicates the maximum number of cards the active player may play. So this thematically tries to show us we're getting older and old people do less stuff than young people. That's the lesson I learned from Star Trek. A fine CBS property. Similar to shirts I might be wearing. Then we have the mission objective. We must commit again credits. And since this is the same... I forgot. Khan allows us to check both. So we can decide if we want to have the Deadly Years, which says collect these things, or we want to have Charlie X, a psychic teenage passenger takes over the Enterprise, which has a shorter timer. We may again not maneuver the Enterprise. If Yeoman Rand appears in a player's hand, discard immediately. Yeoman Rand, I think, was already in here. Players must commit again command credits and so on, and do that to transport Charlie back to his Guardian. Since these are so far all collection missions, don't be fooled. There are some that say specifically, hey, put this enemy token on the board. You have to fly towards him, bring him to close range, and then do something, or similar stuff. So it's not all just getting the command credit. Sometimes it is more of a combat mission doing that. I actually like the idea of seeing us
Old bones?
age fast, so it is the Deadly Years.
Just like every day.
And the other one is, I think, under the thing said Khan.
And you always have to listen to Khan.
Correct. So it's my turn, and I don't want to bore you too much. You can almost imagine what we are going to do. I will fire some photon torpedoes on this. I will probably not fire this onto the ship over there, because this is a credit I can spend here, which allows me to use my special ability to draw more cards and so on. I think you got the idea. So eventually, after finishing 5 of these missions, your journey concludes successfully, and you either dock or just land the Enterprise on a planet in a big ball of fire, depending on which movie you recently watched. And we can now talk about likes and dislikes.
I was just going through all the movies.
Earl Grey, hot.
Yeah, I did that just for you.
I know.
All the Enterprise puns.
You want my hair to go away, and then
it can stay. It's fine. But definitely, I'm going to talk likes and dislikes while he's sipping the Earl Grey with a tiny bit of honey. And today it's orange blossom honey. Fancy. So, likes and dislikes. Now, I really do like Star Trek. This is a story that I always tell when it's either talks at the table about pop culture, or people wondering why I know so few of it.
Wondering or wandering?
Wondering.
Wondering or wandering?
So
I see people running around in the background, just wondering what we're doing.
No. I grew up in GDR, a country that doesn't exist anymore, and you might have heard the stories of you cannot watch any certain TV stations, and Eastern Germany was kind of boring maybe sometimes. So
the influence of capitalist pigs.
Yeah, I did grew up in a city that was not in that one valley where the radio waves from the west did not hit TV antennas. I was fairly lucky. I was allowed to watch Western German TV once in a while. And the one thing that I was allowed to do is watch one TV show with my brother together per day. That's all. We had to decide on what we wanted to watch, and only that thing. We cannot say, I want to watch this and I want to watch this. No, we had to watch together. So the thing that we decided on was Star Trek. So I grew up with the Star Trek shows, the original one, and we were both very much in love with TNG, so yay. And I really liked to have a board game that comes with the theme of old Star Trek. I'm not really fond of Star Trek Catan, I have to say, but this one, theme-wise, totally cool. However, I have to say that I'm not 100% sure if people that do not like Star Trek or don't appreciate the culture of Star Trek would get a lot out of that game. It's not a horrible cooperative game, don't get me wrong, but it might be a tiny little thin for people that do not appreciate the Star Trek world. So we have a gaming group that, all know Star Trek. Very many people like it. So we hop into our characters, and I'm the Grumpy Bones. That's why
Not a character.
Because I'm in real life, I'm really good at playing Bones. He's kind of bossy, so of course he's Jim and stuff like that. So we kind of slip into the roles of the characters that we play at the table. But if you don't have that, I think it could be a tiny bit thin for other players. I personally very much like it. You kind of have the panicky mode at the table, but not to the point that you have like a minute timer ticking down, which I would find even more panicky. But sometimes you almost feel like, oh, we're just gonna give up. Never give up. Never do it. Die glorious.
Never give up. Never surrender.
Correct. But that was the other one, the galaxy thing.
What?
I would say Galaxy Balls, but that's totally not the name. It's Spaceball and
it's
blah blah.
Space Galaxy.
No, Galaxy Quest. That was the one. Shit.
See how my life works out each day. You think she's only doing that for the camera, but what's the name of the thing? I don't remember. Who are you? Whatever.
I'm sorry. I feel that one of our viewers, a very particular one, would scream at her computer right now, like, Sarah, again, you did it with the music last time, and now you're doing it with the... I'm sorry. Anyway, no, I just... Where was I?
You forgot.
Yeah.
One other thing.
I was distracted.
I can take over and also talk a little bit about likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
I think this the thematic inclusion in this with the Star Trek stuff is fine. I actually really like the missions, how they kind of try to put that into the gameplay aspects here. I mean, the material they have to try to reenact the content of the mission is thin, and yes, there's tribbles in there as well. No, you don't get swarmed by cards or something that does that. The knock I have against this is, I think there's two ways you can play this game. One is everybody at the table comes together and agrees to have a fun time and embrace the panic. And if there's a stupid decision to be made, kind of rejoice in everything going up in flames and say, ha, idiots. The other way to play this game is to approach this as the puzzle it is. And I think if you do that, you might end up not... I don't want to tell you what to enjoy or not enjoy, but I think this game is very prone to an alpha player at the table that then says, okay, I got this figured out. I do this, you do this, you do this, and then already plans ahead what's going on. And then it comes down to the question, you here to have fun or are you here to win? And while I might offer that option if people get frustrated with the game. I'm fine with embracing the chaos and just going with whatever. That being said, it's an 1.5 hour game that might leave you a little bit disappointed if you're just going for the let's have fun with 6 people. And I'm not sure, 6 with 1.5 hours, it might probably take longer.
Well, it depends. We didn't...
it was shorter with 2.
Set. Yeah, but
Certainly.
we played it with the full set and it wasn't that long. It didn't overstay its welcome. It was just on the verge of...
But the more players you have, the more... Yeah. Discussion goes on, which is perfectly fine, but then again, there's not that much that happens with. You
have a bit of downtime maybe if you're not the participator in huge discussions, but just want to do your turn.
It certainly does get the panic part correct, as in you have this ever present feeling of dread, and even if you...
It's called Romulans.
And even if you have a moment of respite where you think, we just cleared the board of every enemy, we're so awesome, and it's like 1 or 2 turns later, oh my god, why we...
Yeah.
And it really gets that, and it's you'll never emerge from this game with a clean enterprise. It'll be pretty close to exploding, probably.
Yeah. Another thing, talking about production and art style, I'm not very fond of the plastic parts of the shields because, well, the Enterprise in the middle here is cardboard, and they are pretty stiff there, so you always knock against the Enterprise. And yes, the Enterprise will have scratches and probably will be destroyed at one point, but I don't have to do that with my shield. So that's the one thing that I'm not 100% sure of. Other players at the table said they didn't really like the artwork, whereas I have to say, I actually like the scrunchy kind of feeling on these special cards where they took frame parts of the TV show and have horrible graphics. I actually like it because it puts you back to the 60s, 70s when that show was on, and but you just... Yeah, you might get a nostalgia feeling, or you can hold it to the other camera, then I can... Sorry, folks. Make my cutting easier. So, yeah, it's just... I actually embrace that, and it's fine. I have a space bar in front of my eyes. No, I actually... embrace the art style, but I can understand that people that are maybe not as fond of the Star Trek original show and how it looked and all the props and that might find it a tiny bit of...
Yeah, it's... I think it's the... I really like what Fantasy Flight Games is doing with the Star Wars stuff, where they take moments from the movies, but they don't take necessarily like a photograph or the exact scene cut. They have someone paint it and have it more stylized.
But then again, you don't know how the copyrights and stuff work. And I'm going to talk about that a tiny little bit in the funny stories experiences. But it might be that they didn't get the rights.
I think to just sum it up, this is a rather simple cooperative game, which probably will hit our table maybe once a year. There's this kind of, hey, a new Star Trek thing is coming out or something like that, or everybody feels like they want to have some panic.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not something that will hit our table more.
Maybe they have a therapy session scheduled the next day, so you can have panic the night before. Totally fine.
However, I would actually recommend this to if you know someone who is really into Star Trek and for some reason but is not into board games yet. This is actually a pretty good start. Also a good start for anybody who is not into board games yet, because it is simple, it is cooperative. If you have a group that doesn't necessarily have someone who is taking over the group, all the better. And with Star Trek as a theme, it usually has something that everybody can at least relate to in some way or another.
Yeah.
So I think it's perfectly fine for what it is. And that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can do
1, 2, 3. I'm more of a Star Trek fan than you.
I'm a Star Trek fan as well. It's just, it's a little bit light, and it's
it would be a starter game, but not the first choice.
It has, and the toy factor is cool, but that really is only cool for the first half hour or something like that. At least to me, that's fine. I mean,
but then again, it came to our collection rather late, so maybe would have had another rating, would have hit our collection early.
Yeah, but it's the curse of us being late.
Yeah.
Sorry, Star Trek fan.
So let's hop into funny stories and experiences and come back to I don't know if they had the rights to do...
Why we are getting this game late. Because...
Yeah, hold on. And also... I actually wanted to have this game in Daniel's advent calendar that last year. I wanted to have it ordered and put into the advent calendar. And then I found out that you cannot ship it to Germany. I could not order it from the States or somewhere else and have it shipped to Germany because of CBS copyrights. So maybe... Well, that is also the reason why the artwork is not done like Fantasy Flight does it, for example, with Star Wars. Maybe there's just copyright issues somewhere that you can only take a photo of a frame. Anyway, last year in November, we went to BGG-Con, and I had already packed and prepared his advent calendar. And then... we roamed the halls and looked at different vendors and their booths, and I saw Star Trek Panic!
Booths. There was no second B in there. Shame on you for thinking that or hearing that.
Did you hear that? I said booth.
Mm-hmm. So it's the German way of spelling booth.
Anyway, don't distract me. Anyway, so I saw the game... at one of the booths. Mm-hmm. And I was like, look. So I told him, I wanted to have this for you in the advent calendar. I couldn't ship it. Can we please look at the game and maybe take it? Because then no copyright shit going on. So, I'd say 3 minutes later, we had a bag from said company with that game to take to our room and then go down to the hall again and buy some more. So, yay, lucky us, they were actually having a copy of that game at BGG-Con, so we got it, and that's why we are maybe a tiny little bit late to the game. We couldn't ship it to Germany, there's no way.
And if we have some German viewers, sorry.
Go to BGG-Con.
So what they told us is that they only had the licensing right for the US market, which with licensed properties is always a pain. Then again, I think unless you really need that in your collection, you're not missing much. As far as I understand, this is identical gameplay-wise to, let's say, I think Castle Panic.
I don't know.
I think there was a tabletop show with that game with the guys where they are playing archers and killing orcs and goblins that are maybe I'm confusing two games. If you are looking for a good Star Trek game that is also a cooperative game, we don't own it, but since we own Mage Knight and actually like that, there is a Star Trek themed version of Mage Knight, which is I think called Frontiers. You will probably be able to find out. I would almost more recommend going that way, although be careful because...
that's a whole different kind of level of...
That's a little bit more involved. But if you want to have a games game kind of, that would be the thing I recommend. If you just want to have something very simple as a gift or as a thing for a party, this is perfectly fine if you can get it.
Yeah. And while playing... I think, if I remember correctly, we played it a couple of times with different amounts of people at the table, and every time we had, no matter what mission, we had the panic moment at the table. It's like, despair, that breath of despair. It's like,
I'm making fun of this in the how it's played thing and likes and dislikes, but there was this distinct moment where I was looking at everybody saying, we have two choices here now.
Yes, Jim.
I can tell you how we win, or we just play for the heck of it. And then everybody said, "Assume control, Commander." And then
everybody wants to win. We don't want to have fun. We want to win.
And then we won, which is
except
amazing.
for my mom and Tina on New Year's Eve. The four of us. That was a tipsy mode, which is advanced.
Don't play this game with drunk mother-in-law. It's.
She was not drunk. She was tipsy.
That's a euphemism for being badass drunk.
No, she was not. She was tipsy.
Anyway, I understood from the intro that I get to guess this week.
First, I want to say one thing. He's dead, Jim. I had to. I'm in character.
But you're late.
Yeah.
This would actually be fun with... We have a friend called Jim. If we had done this with him, and it's like someone's playing Jim and him as well. So he's dead, Jim. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Digressing. We have a painting coming up for Draw for Initiative next Wednesday, 9 a.m. CET. There's going to be a show for you.
Let me go
on this channel.
I actually did we show what other characters are in the game?
No, you didn't.
Right? Let's do this quick because we are so professional. We have Pavel Tchikov. Or Walter König, who has incidentally the same last name than some
He
people on the show.
has the exact name of my dad.
Then we have Nyota Uhura and Scotty.
Montgomery.
And
Scotty.
George Takei. Hikaru Sulu. And
Spocky.
Spook. Which would be the German lesson of the day. It means spit. But
anyway, for Draw for Initiative, we're gonna stay in space. We
Star Wars Armada.
No, hold it.
X-Wing.
We stay in our solar system. And we're really good at gardening.
Legendary Encounters, the Alien game.
No.
I think there was one on the Earth or one on the Moon that happened there.
Could be, but there was no gardening, I think.
No?
By the way, we have to play that game again.
Cottage Garden Moon Edition.
Nope.
That's not a game, right? I'm doing terrible at this because if you've seen this for sometimes, I'm trying to come up with other games that are really adjacent that I think I know exactly what she's talking about. And that is unfortunate, but so it is. This time I'm going to tell it to you straight. It is Mission to Mars.
No.
Then it is Mars 2099, 2049, the other Mars game.
No. It's not the civilization. Mars thing. There's only 2 more games that could be that are in our collection that could be painted next week.
That game, which you probably now know what it is because I'm pretty sure you do. It also comes with some cards and has some deck building aspects to it, if I'm not wrong, and also is about colonizing a planet. Which perfectly fits into the deluge, what's it called? The huge amount of games that include the word Mars that came out in October last year to Spiel, and that is one of that. So all I can say is goodbye and something like terraformers more than meets the eye. No?
Isn't he cute? No, it's totally fine.
Something like
so
that?
Cute. Yeah. I was about to say it has quite that shape happening in the game. A hexa thingamajig.
Oh, that shape. I was thinking about why is it enterprise shape?
Because I showed them, not you. Challenges of communication.
Thanks for checking in and staying as long with us. We will try to cut this video short by cutting it short now. Goodbye. Please leave. Come back, but please leave for now. You can, before you leave, do the like thing. If you haven't yet, do the subscribe thing and then leave. And come back if the subscribe thing tells you, hey, there's this new thing coming up. I can also can predict the future and say, next Sunday, you will see our stupid mugs here again talking about a board game. No, we don't know yet. We have to figure that out on our own. Until then,
happy Sunday
please leave.
to you. Goodbye, happy Easter, have fun, take care, enjoy the time off with your loved ones. Bye.
Goodbye.
Searching X in space, that is Easter.